What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Rugghead RC. Having to do some maintenance. What's up, Nitro? Yeah, bro, I had some technical difficulties yesterday. And when I was doing my live, my camera jig, I was trying to fiddle with my camera, and the jig pinned my throttle down. It just pinned it. So it was like full throttle for like 2-3 seconds, and it just shot into my neighbor's car, and I ended up stripping out my both rear dog bones. That's never happened before. I've never done both of them. But that's a quick fix. I could probably take care of that in a couple minutes. I got plenty of spares here. But the reason I'm going live, I got some goodies. I got some steel axles, the BLX axles with the aluminum hexes. And what else I got? I got the servo mount. I have some special plans for this. I got a couple of rocket fans. You crashed the Maverick? I know. But what I'm really excited about is this. I just picked up this. I'm super excited about that. This is the Spectrum 40 amp 2-in-1. That comes out of the 10th scale axial crawler. So this is like geared up, or this is specific for a 10th scale crawler, and I think this would be just absolutely perfect for GROMZILLA, because it's brushed, it has some capacitors in line, it's waterproof, it's got some light hookups, it's got like 4 channels on there. So hopefully we'll figure out how to make this work on GROMZILLA. Currently, GROMZILLA has this cool fan shroud I put in there. There's a 30mm fan in there. Because I had to build a fan shroud because my ESC is running so hot. Here, let me turn the lights on so you can see a little better here. There we go. Is that any better? Turn that up a little bit. There we go. So I had to put the fan shroud in there because the ESC was just cooking, and the motor was cooking too, and it helped a lot. But I'm thinking there is enough room for this bigger ESC, and then hopefully it doesn't heat up quite as bad. What's up, Urban? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Happy Friday, my friend. I got a couple hours. I'm trying to get this in. So I got a babysitter tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to rock out. But yeah, so I got the ESC servo mount cover I'm going to put on. And then we're going to do the 40 amp Spectrum ESC. And then I have dual 25 millimeter fans coming, and hopefully they'll be able to bolt right up to the double heatsink I've installed. So they're 25 millimeters. This is 25 millimeters. Hopefully it'll be perfect. And I won't need the fan shroud, and I can use the 30 millimeter on something else. And then for this, so that's the GROMZILLA. If you guys have any questions about GROMZILLA. But she seems to be working pretty good. I'm not too worried about this guy right now. I am excited to see what this guy will do in there though. And I still have a couple spare motors too, so I'm not worried about cooking the motor. They're cheap anyway. They're just brushed. I'm looking forward to getting like the 27 turn 380 motor. But right now I've been happy with the 390, the tank motor. So anyway, that's just what's in store. Hopefully we have enough time this morning to kind of mess with this stuff a little bit and start coming up with a plan of action. This does come with the EC3 thing, and I don't have, I do have a adapter for that. The IC3, the EC3, whatever. A couple batteries that'll work on that. So I'm not too worried about that. But for this, the front end's good. I just need to take the rear end off. And I was thinking, what else do I need to do? Just replace the axles, hopefully. And there's two easy ways to do it. You can either pull the diff cover out, or you can just unscrew the hubs. And I think I'm going to unscrew the hubs. That'll be the quickest fix. And for anybody that owns these Groms, oh, gear down GROMZILLA? Yeah, bro, but I'm already geared down as far as you can go, man. This is a 10-tooth. I got a 10-tooth pinion in here. Check this out. You see how tiny that thing is in there? I have an open crankcase. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. See if the camera can pick that up. But yeah, this geared down, I think, yeah, there you go. There's a good view, but I geared it down as far as it'll go. I think one of the problems is my my mesh is too tight because I had to make the custom motor mount. And because there's only like one tooth contact, it's like 1.5 teeth that mesh up. I had to make it, you know, like tight. I had to err on the side of tightness because if it was too loose, it was going to strip it. But yeah, I should loosen up the motor mount a little bit because it is loud. If you've heard this thing, it grinds. It's like, rawr. And there's visible wear on the spur gear and on the pinion. So I was kind of hoping, I knew it was super tight, but I was hoping that it would kind of wear itself in, you know, and just kind of break in and get loose enough. And it did a little bit. It helped out quite a bit. I did order a Mojave drive shaft cover, so I'll be able to close that up. And then when I get a better, you know, positive mount on the motor mount, I'll be able to work it out a little bit more precisely. But I wanted to give myself wiggle room, you know. I didn't want to make it too loose because then you can't make it tighter. You can only make it looser. So, but I've been so happy with this thing right now. I'm getting about like a 20-minute runtime out of it before it starts cooking up. Uh, but it's like completely unstoppable. I think the ESC will help a lot, and then I think putting dual fans on the motor will help a lot. And then I think maybe loosening up that mesh. Uh, and it should be good to go. And then I'll double check everything for being waterproof, and then we'll be sending it through the river, man. Upstream, floating along. I think that thing is so hilarious. So anyway, look at my dog bone collection. These are all brand new dog bones I've collected. All my spares. These are very handy when you're running Groms because they're so tiny. These are like the old school. When I was like racing the Nico cars and the Radio Shack cars in the 90s, they were using these dog bones, these exact dog bones. So these haven't changed much in 20 years. That's one of the things that's so important if you have a Grom to run it light. You have to like lighten it up. The heavier the car is, the more strain there is on these little baby dog bones right there. They're like 1 millimeter steel right there. But anyway, let's get going. I gotta take these wheels off. These were my backup Pro lines. They're pretty much junk. They're bald. I was running these because I had to re-glue the other Pro lines. And check that out here. I wanted to show you my glue job, Nitro, since you were doing it the other day. Does it rain in the winter for you? It rains like twice a year. We'll get snow like once a decade. If we get like a really strong cold front, we get a lot of hail and like lightning, but not so much rain. We only get like 2 thunderstorms a year, and then when it rains, it pours. We get like mudslides, and it's terrible. We're not used to rain. Everyone drives like retards out here when it rains. It's like everyone forgets how to drive in the rain. But I'll be happy to be RCing in the rain, man. I love it when it rains. Because I garden. I have a nice like pumpkin garden growing right now. There's my stripped dog bones, bro. It looks like they rusted too. That's interesting. Or is that just dirt? Dirt caked on there. I like doing it this way because you don't have to remove the shocks. That one looks identical. Look, just stripped them both clean off. Just like nothing. And I have about 10 of these broken ones. Here's my jar of broken Grom parts. So I got, oh, these are the good ones. Let's see, I got about 4 broken dog bones in here. I have a couple more in the garage, but whenever I break something, I throw it in there. I'm going to do a short, like, the cost of running RC cars, or the cost of Groms, and just show that, you know, the only thing that breaks on these bad boys are the dog bones and those plastic axles, and they just break all the time. So as long as you can get ahead of it, I didn't mind running the plastic axles because they were only like $2 to replace, and they would save the dog bones. When you run the steel, when you run these bad boys, you start breaking the dog bones. But that's why they ran the plastic in the first place, I think, was to try, they were trying to save the dog bones. But I gotta pull that silicone out. That old silicone, the yucky, dirty boogers. Come on. There we go. It's like a nasty, greasy booger. But I was just telling you, I haven't had a problem since I started stuffing these up with silicone. Come on. Until now, but that was user error. That wasn't the Grom's fault. That was my fault for pinning the throttle like an idiot. You know it's bad when the car like wipes out and it's spinning like it's doing the cyclone thing, flipping around, and you're still pinning it like an idiot. Come on, why isn't this coming out? Man, this silicone's like really crusted in there. You use the pin. The pin method. Hey, so Nitro, what time is it over there? You're gonna do your own live stream? Good luck. Yeah, shout out to Nitro RC. He's just a little dude out there in the UK, man. Grinding away on his RC channel. He's a cool cat. There we go, I got it. It's 5:30. It's 9:30 here in the morning. So you're like 9 hours difference or so, something. Anyway, once again, I'm going to say it again. I'll always say it. I highly recommend you get the silicone earplugs. I don't know if it was Tom Lee or the other guy that recommended this, but for these tiny little dog bones, you need all the help you can get. And so I highly recommend you cut like a tiny piece. It doesn't need to be a whole lot, just enough, like a little tiny pillow for the head of the dog bone to cushion the impact. And absorb that vibration, man. You got to do it. And then before I install, I usually take like a Q-tip of grease. Like that. And just smush it in there. First I gotta get my little pillows stuffed in there. Come on. Sometimes these little guys can be kind of a pain in the butt because you're working with really small parts here. Yeah, so then you take Q-tip of grease and you shove it in your diff cup so you get some grease in the diff cup. I don't know if you can see that. See the axle? Just doesn't take much. If you put too much in there, and it's just gonna squirt out, and you know it's gonna fly out when you start getting in the RPMs. But you want just enough to make it wet. And then you can just use like a paper towel and kind of wipe off any of it that squirts out. But you just want something there for the dirt to stick to. You don't, of course, you don't want friction, but you need to give the dirt something to stick to so it's not grinding into your steel or getting wedged into your pieces. Oh. Anyway, shout out to the 12 in the chat, man. Who's here? Where are you watching from? Leave a comment. Where are you watching from? We got my boy in the UK. I think the Urban Legends in North Carolina, right? All right, that's good. That's what you want. All right, now let's quickly do the other side. Gotta shove my little pillow ball in there. And put some grease. And then when you shove it in there with the Q-tip, you're also cleaning it out so you can see. It's like cleaning out your ears. If you ever clean out your ears, you got to clean out your diff cups and your axles, you know? It's like the same motion. You just shove it in there and start twisting it. But yeah, I highly recommend getting some Q-tips for your toolkit. All right. I think we're done there. That looks right. Both of the sides are turning. The locker's locking. I think we're good. We'll put the Pro line, the freshly glued Pro lines back on there. All right, Nitro. Thanks for joining, buddy. Good luck with your live stream. Anyway, today we're working on a 223S BLX Granite Grom. Just finishing up some maintenance. So real quick, what I want to do, I don't know if I got time to do this right now. And I got a 35mm rocket fan. And I want to shove it in between there. And as you could see, there's just not enough room. And we're short literally like 2mm. So the way airflow works, you're going to need as much room as possible. And unfortunately, they just did not give you enough. But I think I found a solution. And the solution is this piece right here. Now this is just some angled aluminum, and I cut a notch out to make clearance for the servo horn. But I'm thinking if I can cut off these knobs here and then mount this like this, but on the other side, I can actually mount the ESC onto the center, the drive shaft cover. And that'll allow air to pass underneath the ESC, and it'll give me enough room to squeeze the fan in there. It'll kind of limit my access to the bell crank stuff, but I don't see that really being a problem. But this guy seems good. I'm not going to do it right now because I think it'll require some Dremel work in the garage. So I might not be doing that all on camera. It's probably going to take a couple hours to figure that one out anyway. But I'm really excited about that because that'll allow me to just go full beans all the time. Even through the summer. Because right now we're at the limit where it's like about the second battery, you know, this thing starts needing some cool off time. It's kind of getting in the way. So this guy's ready. I'm probably going to take this guy out in a couple hours on my walk. Rugghead by the river. Live noonish Pacific time. We'll go let this dog eat. But we'll figure it out, see if it runs now. So turn the transmitter. Plug in the battery. Okay, I think we're good. Let me double check my servo mount, because that thing loosens up too. That side's tight. As long as one side's tight, you're good. The other side's kind of getting stripped out, so I got to be kind of careful with that one. But we'll figure that one out later. This guy's good to go. I just need to top off my batteries and we will be hitting the dirt. Any questions about this guy? The Gardock. What's up, the Gardock? Yeah, feel free, man. Ask me some questions. This is the Granite Grom, the 223S system. And this guy is GROMZILLA. This is what we'll be working on right now. So I'm really excited about this. I don't know if I showed you guys this earlier, but I picked up this 40 amp Spectrum 2-in-1 ESC with the 4-channel. And it's programmable, and it's built for the Axial SXT10 Wrangler, I think, and it was brand new, still got the tag on it. But I think this is a much better equipment for what we're trying to do here with these giant tires, these hilariously oversized tires on here. I've already geared down to a 10-2, so now watch, I'll show you what I've done. I put this fan shroud here to try to direct more airflow, which it did. But I've been using this small 30mm fan. So we'll get rid of this bad boy because I have a 35mm fan. So you can see the size difference there. This should move significantly more air. And then I have some smaller ones coming too. And I'll eventually be running them like this, having 225s. So. But I don't know if this comes in. If you look inside here, the Grom chassis come with this like little side brace right here that's like molded into the plastic. This little side thing right here. And one thing I found out is you can trim this, right, at 45-degree angle and cut that part out. And it actually fits in the little slots. The heat sink part of the rocket fan comes with these little heat sinks on the corners. And this little plastic brace thing you can cut into angles to fit perfectly in these slots. And it makes a perfect fan brace. Now I got to cut this little knob off right there, but this will fit, press fit perfectly in there. And let's get it. Let's do it. Let's take this thing apart, man. You guys are lucky. This is my top secret prototype Grom crawler right here. So you guys will get to see the secrets that makes this thing run. We'll start by taking out the ESC and the motor. Give us some more room here. This is a brand new servo I just got. But I love it, man. This thing's so easy. Comes out easy as cake right there. So you can see the size difference here. This is significantly bigger. But it will fit perfectly. Look at that. It's a perfect fit. So, if any of you want to upsize your brushed Mojave, this is a good option for you. The 40 amp SLT or ESC. But you have to get the servo mount to hold your steering servo down. All right, now let's remove the, making a mess here, but let's remove the motor. Now, GROMZILLA is quite a story, so I'll tell you the story behind GROMZILLA. I wanted to make a rock crawler Grom just because of where I live. Rugghead by the river. I got all these awesome, rock fields and just endless mountainous badlands, And so I've always wanted to make a Grom rock crawler. And I was thinking of all the different ways I could do it. Oh no, I broke it. So this is my, actually I didn't break it. It's been broken. There's the secret weapon right there. This is the 390 tank motor with double heat sinks, a homemade motor mount. I guesstimated. I just moved it as far over as I could. I moved it as far over. I don't know if you can see the hack job I did on there. And it's a little off center. I could have done a better job, but this was just a prototype, man. I wanted to see if it would work. And it worked. It worked really well. So now I'm kind of refining the process. This is just like a proof of concept vehicle, because I didn't see anybody else doing it. What's up, Matthew Sr.? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. We're going over GROMZILLA. I was showing the secret tank motor right here. This is what makes GROMZILLA possible right here. This big, strong, industrial 10-tooth. It's like a starter motor for... This thing's like a 10,000 max RPM. It's heavier than garbage. This thing's like a brick. But this is a brushed tank motor out of the Hulong tank. You know, those big metal dual track, like scale tanks. You can hear it. It's got some sand in there. Maybe that's why it's not working. I needed to clean this thing out. Too much time in the river. Let's get these heat sinks off. Isn't there a way you can clean these? You just like kind of run them in the water. Yeah, there's something getting locked up in there. Oh, my fan broke. I got some parts falling out, guys. Are those brushes? Uh-oh, look, something copper fell out. I had some copper fall out. That's not good, man. Uh-oh. Well, we'll see if it works. Look at this. I had 2 pieces of copper come out. Anybody know what those are? I don't know, man. That's not good. But they were getting locked up in the system, but you can hear it. So let's see if this works, because I have my doubts. And it's completely okay if it doesn't work. I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, I gotta go get the GROMZILLA remote. Just one sec. All right, got the remote. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Matt. Yeah, well, here we are, bench test. Uh-oh. It's not a good sign, guys. I think the motor's launched. Wah, wah, wah. Well, that's okay, guys. I have another one. Let me see if I got it. Here. You want to see my box of goodies? Here's my new motor. I already had one. They come in 2-packs because they're tank motors. Check this out. I got a couple low-C wings. Got some carbon fiber. Got a brand new China Hobby battery. I haven't even messed with yet. Got some extra servos. Got some aluminum bar for making drive shafts. Check this out. I got the Protoform. I think this is like a 5th scale air dam or splitter. I was going to cut that up. I was going to cut that up and make some speed wings out of it. All right. So let's see what this new motor's all about. It's got these long ass wires. That's why I soldered these guys up, because it comes with these giant wires. But it does come with the bullet points. We'll see if the bullet points fit. Oh, nice. That's perfect. Okay. Okay, boys. That makes it easy. Okay, let me clean this out. Got some rocks in there. You can see how smooth the transmission is in this thing. There's a little bit of slop in the differential. But that's what you want, guys. It's nice and rolls easily. So, the first thing we need to do is get the motor mount off of this and put it on this. This one's fried. The first thing I need to do, honestly, is wipe off the counter because I cannot stand working on like dirt. Working on plastic crumbs and shards. Okay. All right. Shout out to the 24 in the chat, man. Leave me a comment. Where you guys from? Where you guys watching from? What's up, Prince Donald? Welcome to the rebuilding of GROMZILLA. The rock crawler Grom. Today we're going to try to figure out how to put this ESC in there. And I got a new fresh tank motor. And it should be able just to kind of smush right up in here without too much of a hassle. I do kind of have to figure out how to program this ESC. I've never binded in one of these, but I heard these are supposed to bind up. That's what makes it the smart system, right? We'll see. We will see. So, before we get going with this, I need to save my servo, get my servo out of here. Does this come with screws? Yeah, let's see. Anyway, there's the part number. This is only like $6 on Amazon. So, and it gives you a nice big area, which fits perfect, honestly. And I got some double-sided sticky tape somewhere over here. Oh, there it is. Boom. So I got some 3M sticky. Put it on there like that. This should fit perfectly. Not bad, not bad. It's like they originally designed this for this. No, I lost one of these stupid steering servo screws. And I know I have some spares somewhere, but I don't know where they are. I need a screwdriver for that. Okay. This is not a bad ESC, man. This is my original stock brushed ESC that came in the stock granite Grom. I put some posts on it so that I could utilize those little 3mm bullets, and they just slip right on. I did have some problems grounding out there. You could see where I shorted it out. But that's what I mean. It's pretty good considering I shorted it out and all kinds of other stuff. And it was still running real good. Submarining it in the water. I was reading through like the whatever the waterproof disclaimers that Spectrum puts on their stuff. They're like, you know, you can only full submarine your car or the electronics for like 5 seconds or something. That's what they're rated for, is like 5 seconds underwater, like 5 minutes in the rain. Prince Donald, you want to know how to make one of these? What's up, Chris from Los Angeles? I'm out here in the Inland Empire, bruh. We're not too far apart. How are things in LA? So, Prince Donald, if you're interested in the Grom, it's an entire look at this. I got parts falling out of my... Look at that. More plastic crap coming out of my motor. No wonder it wouldn't work. Oh well. That's what it sounds like when they're blown out. This is what they sound like when they're brand new. You hear that? So Prince Donald. The easiest way I would do it is either buy one that's ready to run, an RTR version, and just do a little bit of research on what kind of size you want to work with and what kind of budget you have, because there's so many new models coming out all the time right now. I did a bunch of research on AI. I was like, when I first got into this, I wanted to know like the best value. I was interested in the best value for under like 200 bucks or whatever. 250 was my budget back then. And back then these Groms were only 120 bucks. And so I was like, I'll just get one because they got really good reviews, other than like the differentials and the plastic pieces and stuff, which you just upgrade stuff as it breaks. So like if you break your shocks, you go get better shocks. But it all depends on what you're doing. I mean, some people like go to the skate park and just, you know, go full send off a quarter pipe or half pipe or something. Like I'm a dirt guy. I go out there and try to speed run in the dirt. And I rock crawl this in the desert. So it depends on what you want to make, but you basically you can either buy a ready to run complete set and then just set aside, you know, like 50 bucks or 100 bucks for just spare parts, because you're gonna break stuff as you learn how to drive. You know, it's not like you come out of the womb Mario Andretti, you know, like you're ready to go drive the Indianapolis 500 right off the bat. You're not going to be Travis Pastrana or Ken Block until you crash a couple cars, you know. It's not about learning how to do it. It's about like learning how not to do it. But you can also buy, like, if you go on eBay and buy a roller, you can just buy so what people do on eBay is they'll buy like the complete car like this, and then they'll piece it out, you know, they'll sell they'll sell like the motor and the axles and the differentials and everything, and the shocks and the tires, everything separately. So you can just buy like a roller and then you can put whatever motor you want in there. Because a lot of times, like the stock motors and the stock electronics are just kind of, you know, so-so. They're just kind of par for the course. They're just good enough, you know, usually. So here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm just going to take a needle file and I'm going to kind of work the mounting, the motor mount holes over a little bit and just give me a little bit more room on the pinion because that mesh, that gearing mesh is just way too tight. What time are we at? 10, almost 1 hour. That's good, boys. I'm going to try to work the pinion over a little bit and loosen up that mesh. And hopefully it'll put a little bit less strain on the electronics. But I don't want to take off too much because you can't put it back. You know what I mean? You can't, if you go too far, you're going to strip your gears and then you have to start with a whole new motor mount. So I've been doing this, you know, take off a ball here or take off a thousandth of an inch. We call a thousandth of an inch a ball hair, by the way. I'll take off a couple thousandths. And just give it a little bit more breathing room. Because that last mesh was really loud, guys. It was like, you could hear the grinding of the gears. You could see, let me show you. You can see the pinion wear. You can see like how the teeth, there's like a little line, a groove. Let me see that comes in. Yeah, you can see it. That's the spur gear wearing it down. So when you put a new motor in there, it's got a new pinion in there. It hasn't worn down yet. It's going to be like extra tight until you can break it in. And speaking of which, I should probably clean out my spur gear since I'm looking at it. So earlier we had a greasy Q-tip, and this is another good use for a greasy Q-tip. You can also use a toothbrush, and you're just cleaning out the teeth. You're getting all the metal debris out, and rocks and dirt and anything else that might be in those teeth. And it's significant. You can see how gross this Q-tip is. That's all metal. What's up, Darren James? Welcome. Yeah, bro, the 4500 motor to the moon, sir, indeed. This bad boy's 4500. The granite Grom. What kind of Grom you got? This bad boy is 4500. To the moon with this one's 27 tooth pinion. And this guy right here is 4500. Let's show you this guy. Woo. This one's got a 24 tooth pinion. But I'm turning this one. This one's brushed. This one's going to be 40 amp. 40 amp brushed. Hopefully we can figure it out together. So I do believe I sanded enough on the motor mount to maybe give it a little extra room there. There we go. Now I gotta make sure I orient it correctly. Here we go. And since this is a brand new motor, I don't use Loctite because I know there's grease and all kinds of, like, you know, residue and shit on there already. So I know that the Loctite's already not going to do anything with these. It's full of oil. You can see the holes are all oiled up. So I just snug them up real good. Since the motor mount is plastic, you're able to get like a good torque on there. Okay. Kind of works like the nylon thread lock in a way. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's get this bad boy in there, see if it meshes up. You can hear that, boy. Woo! All right, she needs some grease, I think, or some oil. Let's do some motor oil. I use a little medicine dropper, and I just kind of keep it full of like 30 weight or 80 weight oil. And you can see how I could just drop it directly where I need it. Yes, Darren, that's my favorite setup, bro. That's exactly what I'm running in Dirtborn. I got the 21 tooth Typhon setup in here. If depending on what you're doing with it, are you doing dirt? Because if you're making like a drift truck, if you're just doing like speed runs and stuff, you can gear up to like 24 tooth. Oh, and I highly recommend, Darren, since you already did the swap, you get the Exotech aluminum spur gear. The aluminum spur gear, bro. That sucker's fire, man. Because it's quiet, so it like cleans up the mesh. Because aluminum is softer. And it quiets down like the vibration, and it's less rotational weight, so you get that instant transfer of power. It's great. All right, so this seems to be working. As sketchy as this is, it seems to be working. Now I had to custom fab this piece because I didn't have it. I was trying to tell you guys the GROMZILLA story. I crashed my Typhon at like 60 miles an hour and blew up my bulkhead. So I went online on eBay. Oh, you know what I want to do? I need to do something first before I mount that. Now we're gonna, this is tight. Once you get it in there, you're not getting it out, man. Yeah, I'm getting a Quake for sure. I'm getting that just to match all these boys. I want a skate park. That's the only thing I don't have right now is a skate park Grom. And that, I think that Quake is just specifically built for this skate park, honestly. Because the Gorgon was an amazing skate park basher. Or so I've heard. Alright, what are we going to do? We're going to cut these knobs out so that we can fit a 35mm fan. So I have to take my razor blade so you can see where the original holes are. This one is for the center mount. This hole is for the original Mojave fan. That cheap little tiny fan they give you. But we don't need either of those, so we're going to cut them out. Just like that. Cut it from the bottom, cut it from the top. Should probably wear eye protection, but I'm just going to close my eyes. Is this thing going to fly out like 1,000,000 miles an hour? Mother. Let's get it. There we go. Sorry if you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm just muscling this razor blade to this little plastic mount. There we go. Got it. Oh, see? Gotta wear eye protection, guys. That almost got me right there. Don't be lazy. Alright, got one of them out. Let's see if the fan fits. No, I gotta cut the other one out too. So I did this with the Typhon. Anybody in the chat running a Typhon? I was able to squeeze the 35mm fan right in rocket fan. I had the machine. You see how I had to round the edge right here? I had to round this for the body to fit. So essentially what I did is I just took a grinder and I just nipped off the corner right here. And it fits perfectly in the Typhon, like they meant to do it that way. So whatever. Whatever, dude. I got you. So anyway, happy Friday, everybody. How's everyone doing? Where are you guys watching from? Had someone from the UK, someone from LA, had someone from North Carolina. Where y'all from? There we go. So I really enjoy these Groms. They're so cheap to work on. Even if I butcher this chassis is only like $7. What's up, Pico Droid? Thanks for joining, man. So anyway, now I'm going to cut these at 45 degree angle so it can squeeze fit into the heat sink part of the 45. 145 aluminum shaft. Oh yeah. Dude, I've had like 6 of those, man. They were like $4. When I saw they were like $4, I bought like 6 of them. Yeah. All of my cars are aluminum drive shafts. This one is the Losi drive shaft, and I just chopped it down. The Losi ones were pretty cheap too for a while, before everyone started buying them. Anyway, 45 degrees on this. We're going to use our chomper tool. So you can see what I'm talking about in here, this groove. Just like that. Just like that. All right. So you see how it's different now. And then I'm going to clean out that channel so that the fan can fit or sit flush with the chassis and not be like suspended and wobbly. But this is kind of a crappy angle. Let me get my other blade here. There we go. These are cool, these little 99-cent store X-Acto blades, because the blade is so thin, you can bend the blade like a fillet knife. And get like a perfectly flush cut. So 99-cent store knives. And then if you break them, you know, it's not a big deal. You just throw it away, get another one. All right. I think we're getting it, guys. There we go. All right, do I have a toothbrush in here? I used to have a toothbrush in here. Where'd my toothbrush go? Anyway, it's also handy to have an old toothbrush, man. So you can clean out all these little grooves and stuff. Because look at all this garbage, this plastic. This dirt. And just crap that I hacked off the chassis here. So let me wipe that off real quick. Can't stand that stuff, man. It's so yucky. Like those little plastic shards that come off of... Anyway. All right, let's see if we could press fit this fan in here finally. Where'd it go? Here it is. Now I should just snap right in here. Boop. Yeah? No? Yeah. So yes, once I force it in there, it'll snap in there and be kind of semi-permanent. Now, I am not positive that this is going to be the final location. But you can see right there, this is a good mounting method because it literally fits perfectly. It's like the tightest fit imaginable. Can you imagine like cutting yourself on live and just like having to do like first aid on your live stream? Because you like hacked your finger off. I was watching that. Oh gosh. Speaking of hacking your finger off, that dude, he's got a pretty cool channel, RC, Do RC. You seen that show, Do RC? He's got a rad channel. He's always like the first one to modify everything, you know. But he's kind of, I hope he's not watching this, but dude's kind of an idiot, man. Like he's really smart guy, don't get me wrong, but every once in a while he just does something that's just like, what are you? Like there was one time where he was complaining about the Groms and not being able to see the mesh. He's like, I'm not able to do the mesh. These things are such a piece of junk because there was no way I was able to set the mesh. So I had to drill a hole on top to see it. And I'm like, what? You couldn't just do this and then see if it lined up or not? You couldn't just put the motor mount in the slot like you're supposed to? So he wasn't able to do that. But this last video, he took a Quake, you know, and he took a brand new Quake Grom and he's already putting a Castle motor in it. And I'm watching him, he has to cut out like the battery tray or something. And he's using a Dremel with a cutoff wheel. And just the way he was holding it was like literally the cutting wheel was right next to it, right up against his finger. And I'm like, bro, your finger better be wearing eye protection. I was thinking, this dude is going to cut off his finger trying to make a damn YouTube video. So anyway, let's plan this out. Let's see if we got enough room for anything. I got a motor. Right? Motor's going to go something like that. And then I have this giant ESC right here. So this thing's going to have to go on there like that. And it just barely fits, bruh. Look at that. So I will just have just barely enough room for the fan. Like that. That's how it's going to be. Does that look right? With the dual heat sinks. Should work. Should work better. All right. So the first thing to do, I'm guessing the first thing I should do is probably bind this while it's out. So how do we do that? Let's ask AI. Let's say, how do I bind my new Spectrum Arrma 40 amp smart ESC and receiver, and then I'll put in parentheses the number SPMX SE 1040 RX. So I'm guessing that's a hobby wing. Okay, and then to my SLT2 transmitter. Question mark. How do I bind my Spectrum Firma 40 amp Smart ESC receiver to my SLT2 transmitter? What is it telling me? Oh no, guys. It says it's the wrong protocol and that I need to use a DSM-2 transmitter. Is that true? What's up, Dwayne? How you doing, brother? How's your mom's doing? Is she better? Is she doing any better? Let me make a new tab here. Oh well. I hope that's not true, man. I thought all of this smart garbage was supposed to be compatible, man. Well, I'll look into that. We'll follow up with that. That'd be a damn shame if I can't use this. I guess we can go back to my stock one. The stock setup here. I'm not sure I want to do that. Oh well, let me put it all in a bag. I gotta do some more research, guys, before we go any further with that. What happened to my bag? Dun, dun. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's see. We got ESC. Put that away. I'll put the heat sinks on the motor just for the heck of it. There we go, guys. Look at that setup. That thing's bad. So anyway, we'll wait on that. Kind of makes me upset a little bit because I thought I had a brilliant solution right there, but I guess not. But I'm not sweating it. And let me throw all this other stuff in a bag, and we'll get to this on another day, boys. Sorry, Dwayne. Man. Anyway, thanks for hitting the like button, bro. Sorry to hear about your mother. Yeah, that's a bummer. It's that's a hard deal, man. Well, thanks for stopping in, man. I'll be praying for you. Actually, we've been praying for you. We lifted you up yesterday in the fun zone. So that blew me away. We got a beautiful little community here for us to be praying for, just people in the chats and stuff. So anyway, that was a bust, guys. That was a bust. I'll have to figure out what's going on with my how to bind that. I was just hoping that would be an easy bind, but apparently the Spectrum Smart system's not that smart. So that kind of ticks me off. It's one more strike against Spectrum. I've been meaning to do another, one of my most popular videos, oddly enough, was like the first video I did where I was trying to troubleshoot the S100 chargers, you know, the Spectrum Smart charger, and I kept having issues, and I was wondering, is it just me? Am I doing it wrong? Am I working them too hard? And I kept going through Hobby Horizon, getting them replaced and everything. They would cover them on warranty. Yo, I ended up with five S100 chargers, and none of them work. They all blew up. And the crazy thing is they all broke differently. You know, so you could take a smart battery and plug it into the first one, and it won't work. And then you'll plug it into the next one, and it won't work in another way. It'll tell you a different code. And then you plug it into the next one, and it just won't do anything. And then you'll plug it into the next one, and it was like, we don't recognize this battery, you know. Anyway, I was like, what the heck is that? I had imagined if they had like a specific weak part, you know, like if something happened in quality control, or, you know, like a certain batch of resistors was weak or whatever, and they would have an issue. But all of them had issues, and all of them had different issues. So I just I'm over it, the S100. I'm going to do a very stern video aimed at Spectrum and Hobby Horizons for selling us that garbage. Because there's no way they didn't know that it would blow up on you. And instead of like fixing it or just eating the loss, they ended up throwing it in the bundle packs and made everyone buy it thinking they were getting a good deal in the bundle pack, which is how I ended up with two of them. Was I bought the bundle pack thinking I was getting a good deal, and then 2 weeks later the charger blows up and you're back at square one. And you had to buy it because back then was the only 3S charger for the Groms. That was the only one you could get. So anyway, that was kind of shady to me. So I'm gonna call them out. They've done me good. I mean, they've honored their warranty and they've sent me replacements. Like I'll bitch and be like, hey, your charger broke. How do I fix it? And they'll be like, what's wrong with it? And then I'll show them, and then they'll just send me a new one. And then 2 weeks later, that one breaks. And then I'll call them back up, be like, hey, that charger you sent me was no good. And then they'll send me another one. But we've been playing that game enough, man. I'm not just, they're going to be they're going to go broke trying to sell that crap. So I'm going to let them know, man, they're going to go broke selling us crap. They're better off just taking the loss and not having to, endure this 2-year warranty bull jazz. But we're good here, boys. This guy's good to go. We're going to go hit some dirt while it's still cool outside before it starts heating up. So I got a couple batteries already, like 90% charged. I'm just going to go in there, top them off. And we'll go take this out to the dirt. And since it's Friday, I got some extra time. We'll probably set up the trash ramp. And I'm feeling good about Dirtborn right now, so I don't mind sending it right now. Since it's cool outside and it's Friday, we're going to go full send on the trash ramp down there by the river. So if you've made it this far into the live chat, man, I appreciate you very much, man. Thank you so much. Double tap your screen or whatever if you can give me a thumbs up. That helps the channel a lot, man. And if you're still around on YouTube in a couple hours, man, we'll be doing Rugghead by the River live 12 o'clock noonish Pacific time. I could run for about an hour and a half. We usually do about 3 batteries, and I take this guy out for about a mile and a half walk. And we actually have a pretty nice little spot. We got a chill spot where we can just race and jump and bash. So if you're around, go ahead and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. Hit the bell so you get notified when we go live every Tuesday through Friday, 12 noonish Pacific, man. Anyway, it's your boy Rugghead RC, man. I'll see you guys in a few hours, all right? Peace. Let's hit up the zoom here. What's it look like?